Welcome to another edition of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor,
And I'm Justin Lemmy.
and Shawn is out because he's doing. So is he on the board of an HOA? Is he?
If he's on an HOA board, I've lost a lot of respect for him. Honestly, I mean, I hate HOAs.
He might be popping in. Yeah, it wasn't until I moved out here to Tucson that we had HOAs. We didn't have them in California. Didn't have them in Coachella. Didn't
Well,
have
I
them
mean,
in Huntington
it,
Beach.
it just depends on the neighborhood you live in because an HOA really only serves its purpose for the first like 10 or 20 years or
Hmm.
so. And then after that, they kind of usually dissolve. But what's been happening, at least in my area, is there's no longer HOAs. They're called metro districts. And
Really?
they're considered a special district, which is a form or a branch of the government. So they never dissolve.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah.
I remember driving in Huntington Beach and I went down my street. Now you got to remember these homes in Huntington Beach. Yeah, they go for almost $1 million, right? And they're basic three-bedroom homes, but it is California. And I
Well,
remember,
you're a mile off the coast. You're
yeah,
probably talking about 5 or 6 million now.
no, not that much. Maybe closer
Oh,
inland, but or
okay.
closer to the water. But I remember turning the corner once and seeing this house on Weakfish Lane, and I saw this, and I'm not kidding. The grass was as tall as the car. It was
Mm.
like they hadn't mowed it in forever. And I remember that house. I remember the people that lived in there. They obviously didn't live there anymore. And I remember thinking to myself, that's why we have HOAs. But there's no HOA in
Well,
that neighborhood.
I mean, there definitely is a case to be made for HOAs. Yes, it does keep the neighborhood somewhat, standard across the board. But I think the problem is just it's just they get they get too powerful
Mm,
and they get a little too zealous, if you
yeah.
will, I guess.
And
And they
we've heard the
start.
stories. Oh
Oh
my.
yeah, I mean there are literally websites and subreddits dedicated to, blank the HOA and stuff like that.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it's just like they just overstep their bounds. They come over and they look over your fence and they're like, "Oh, well, you got something in your backyard you're not supposed to." Well, that's the whole purpose of a fence, so that you don't see it. Like, like stuff like
Oh,
that, or like,
there
"Oh,
are
you
people, there are
you parked
people
your
that are
car on the street."
totally agreeing with you right now.
Oh my
Definitely.
God.
Yeah. But I don't think the HOA can use drones to look in your
Oh
backyard.
no, there have been plenty of stories of HOAs using drones to look in
Oh
your
man.
backyard, and then people are like, "I'm gonna sue you because you've breached
Yeah.
a contract or you breached the law of privacy or whatever." But it's just I don't know, man. I don't like HOAs in general. I just
Yeah.
like let me do what I want with my property. It's my property, my house. I'm not gonna go crazy. Now, again, to your point, this is why we have HOAs is because that one person's gonna be like, I'm gonna turn my house into a junkyard, and then it
I'm gonna
lowers the
paint
property
it.
values of
I'm gonna
everybody
paint it
else.
this color.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Oh
I
man.
get it, but I
Yeah,
just think that HOAs in general overreach their bounds.
we'll have to find out if Shawn is indeed on a board. He had to go to the meeting, so either that or he's going there to complain about something, which could always be the case. Matt has had a little issue with the heater giving him problems at home.
Well, he just got his brand new HVAC system installed earlier this year, and it's already failed on him twice. And
Mm.
literally, as of the time, as right now, as we were recording, Denver is actually getting a massive snowstorm coming in.
Oh no.
So it is not the night to lose your heat. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
it's one thing to be cold, whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. You got electric blankets and, heat up some hot water or whatever. But it's the freezing of the pipes because
Oh
that
boy.
leads to a world of hurt that I, for one, have been privy to in
Yeah.
this house.
You've dealt with the pipes that have been busted and pipes that have leaked. And a matter of fact, sadly enough, as we have followed your journey twice, you're now going through it a third time as well.
Well, yeah, as of tonight, like literally, I literally contacted Andy before the show and said, "Look, man, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it. I'm just so stressed out right now. We just got another leak in our master bathroom that we just paid $35,000 for back in June to get remodeled, and this is not the first leak. Again, after that, it's the second leak, and I'm out for
Wow.
blood. I'm out for blood. I
Oh,
mean, I'm so livid right now. And these guys are like, "Oh yeah, well we'll come out on Wednesday or Thursday and take a look at
wait
it."
a
I'm like,
minute.
"No, you will get your happy little butt out here tomorrow, and
Right.
you will bring with you a plumber. You will bring with you a drywall expert because you are going to tear down my drywall and you are going to fix this blank right now."
Yeah. Oh man.
And you're going to give me something for this because
This is twice now.
this is the twice after they've renovated it, twice that I've had to call them back out. And I'm literally, you know what? I'm going to make a joke because my son made an amazing joke. I'm gonna call him out right now.
All right.
The company is done right. D
All
U
right.
N N R I
Oh
T
boy.
E. Done right. Done right. Done right. My
Wrong.
my kid's like, well, it sounds like they've been doing it wrong. I'm like, yeah, they have been.
Oh man. They need to get and I would not have made you wait too. If it's leaking, we'll be right out there, sir.
Yeah,
Come
they
take care
should have
of it.
been. Oh, I've been busy all day. I don't care if you've been busy. Get your butt out here and figure this out.
Yeah. It's the worst. I'm sorry. We're all going through. I'm going through hard drive issues. You're going through that. I'm going through a software program
Matt's going through no heat.
that I purchased, and now suddenly a license doesn't want to work. That's the one that helps me recover the data. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I thought 2025 was supposed to be a fresh start.
It really hasn't started out that great.
No, no,
Has
not at all.
it?
No, no. If you can't tell, listeners, I'm like one step away from seeing red right now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the reason that I got you to step in and I gave him the wrong time because I forgot that he was in Vegas. We've got a mutual friend of ours that I know you haven't talked to in decades
Oh my
that
gosh.
was going to be able to come on the show and talk about what he's doing in Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show.
I mean, I got a couple ideas, but I have
Yep.
no. I don't know for sure, but I got a couple ideas who it might be.
Well, the Consumer Electronics Show, of course, this week in Vegas has been huge. They kicked off with all kinds of announcements. We interviewed one guy that is with the Consumer Electronics Show and we talked all about Patrick Pennett, who is a senior director, industry and policy communications to the Consumer Technology Association. He'll be on the show a little later. We'll
Mhm.
be talking about some of the things they were expecting this year. I had no idea that last year during CES, they had crews walking around the show floors doing videos, short form videos for YouTube, short form videos for other social media, highlighting some of the stuff that they were showing. And
Hmm.
one of them I had never heard about, the Mobian. And I don't know if you've heard of Mobian. Mobian is a vehicle from, I believe it was Hyundai. And you're sitting there in your car and you decide, oh, I need to get closer to that curb. All four wheels will turn and allow you to go sideways.
What?
Yeah, or maybe you're at a you
Wait,
ever
is this an aftermarket thing?
no, it's this Mobian vehicle that you got to see the video. It's available online, but from CES. And so man, like, have you ever done this where you pull up somewhere and you got to grab a ticket?
Yeah.
And a gate arm comes up.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. I always pull up so too far away. So imagine this: rather than having to back up and then get closer or get out of your car and grab the ticket, you just move all the four tires and it slides over. And I mean, it's innovation. I would hope that it would never malfunction, but it's still pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, that is pretty cool. I
Yeah.
mean, cars are just they're getting way they're not even cars anymore. You can't even call them a car.
Wow.
It's a mobile computer.
Jim Barry, who has been on the show many times, he's no longer with us. He passed away some years ago. Would come to Tucson and do what they call the CES tour after the show ends. He would come in and bring gadgets and gear. And Jim was phenomenal and would show things. And he talked about how the evolution of the CES had turned into a car show. He said there's I think it was the West Wing of the show, nothing but cars and the technology in our vehicles. And we've talked a lot about your Tesla. We've
Mhm.
talked a lot about the technologies of EV, and now it's hybrid vehicles. It's entertainment inside your vehicles. It's illumination. This Mobian, one thing it can do is say somebody wants to walk in front of your car, it can actually put a crosswalk down for them. It can project a crosswalk.
That's kind of cool.
So I mean,
Well,
yeah, you got to look that one up.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll definitely check that out because I've not heard of that. But I gotta say, speaking of smart vehicles, I had something happen to me yesterday that was amazing. So, obviously we are Tesla owners, as I've talked about, and I have a Model Y, 2023 Model Y. Every once in a while, Tesla says, "Hey, man, refer your friends and earn up to $1,000 if they, buy a Tesla,
Right.
up to $1,000, which means they have to buy the top of the line." To get the $1,000, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, coworker, my wife's is like, yeah, they want to buy a Tesla. I'm like, yeah, here you go. Here's a referral code. We'll get probably like $100, whatever. I get $1,000. And
Nice.
I'm like, wait, what? And they're,
Yeah.
yeah, they bought a Model S, a 2024 Model S, which is their top of the line, but there's one more model above that, and it's the Model S Plaid
Glad.
edition.
Yeah.
But he did not get the Plaid. He just got the Model S.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, they came over last night and to show off the car, and he wanted to say thank you and everything. So, I first off, I told him about all the stuff that he was able to get me because of the Tesla credits. So I got all weather mats, I got the center console tray, I got the illuminated door sills, so when you open the door it actually says Tesla on the ground. It like projects the word Tesla on the ground.
Right.
I've got all weather mats in the trunk and the frunk, a bunch of other stuff too. So I got a bunch of accessories from him. But then he was sitting there and he was like, "Hey, do you want to take the Model S for a drive?" And I was like,
Oh man, really?
"I've never actually driven a Model S." And he's like, "Oh, dude, you got to see this. We get it. I thought the Model Y was advanced. The Model
Right.
S has so many more features. It just blows my mind. First off, the center console screen actually tilts based on based on who's driving. So like if the passenger wants to see it or if the driver wants to see it, it'll do. But here's the best part. The best part is he's like, "Hey, just pull onto the street, stop it, go to a stop, and then just gun it." And I'm like,
Right.
"Okay." I hit that accelerator. We went 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. I mean, it threw me back in
Oh,
my seat.
amazing.
It was amazing. And I got to say, the Model S is way,
Now do you want to
way
upgrade?
more.
Now do you want to upgrade? Is that the deal?
Oh, I do, but I can't afford it.
Yeah. All right. So we were able to bring in not only Shawn to find out if he is a member of the HOA in his community, but also a buddy of ours that I know you have not seen, Justin, in a long time, who has who is an Emmy award-winning videographer, producer, writer. We've worked together in radio over at Lotus Broadcasting here in Tucson. Paul Sanchez is with us on the line. Paul, how you doing,
Oh my
man?
God, Paul.
I
Wow.
know, right? Oh, am I on?
Yes,
Am I
Yeah.
on? Am I here? Okay, I'm not seeing myself in the little monitor here. How's it
man,
going, guys?
Good.
it's been forever. It's great to see you, and you are at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
I am at CES this year. I got media credentials, so I was starting early last night at CES Unveiled. Of course, my focus has been keyboards, mechanical keyboards specifically, and I think it's something that I think we're on the verge of seeing a big boom in use. I mean, a lot of people around my office use them now. It's cut down on a lot of like carpal tunnel
Yeah,
syndrome symptoms,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's
our other
delightful.
co-host, Matt, he just was raving about his mechanical keyboard he got for Christmas
Yep.
You know,
recently. So,
what kind did he get? I
oh
was
my God,
curious.
what was that? What was that, Sean? You're the Google Foo
Sean, you
guy.
remember that
I
one?
don't remember now what he said it was.
Put you on the spot. No, I don't remember. It was something. It was like it was only like a $99 one, but it was like
Keychron. I think it was Keychron.
Keychron. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Okay,
Keychron.
Cron.
Yeah, and I
They've
think
got
that's
they've got a booth here that they weren't unveiled, but they've got a booth here that I'm going to be. That's one of the primary booths. I definitely got to hit up tomorrow because that's when the floor opens for all the exhibits tomorrow.
now. Did you do Showstoppers as well? That's a Steve Leon exhibit. That thing is really good as well.
I did not do showstoppers. I was more focused on getting to unveiled and making sure that I covered the auto keybow, which of course I don't know if you've seen the video
Oh,
on.
that is amazing.
Oh, it's just an incredible thing. where it really focuses on the health aspects of people that have like issues with rotation and extension and stuff like that. Basically, for those who don't know the story, this guy named what was his name? His real name is Christian, but he goes by Ryan. His name is
Right.
Ryan. He goes by Ryan. He's in the Philippines, I believe, and he basically had a shoulder injury from boxing. And what he wanted to do was to create a device that limited his range of motion, where he could just keep his arms in one spot. So basically, with the help of AI, he created a keyboard that's a full 116 key layout. And then when you lift your palms up in a certain direction, it's very hard to learn, by the way. But when you lift your palms up in a certain direction, the full keyboard slides back. You get your 10 pad on your left side, and you get a trackpad on the right side. So basically,
Oh, wow.
it's just an incredible piece of machinery, and Ryan knocked it out of the park. It's just
Now,
really
is
incredible.
this part of the Thockhouse brand, which is what, Thockhaus?
Yes, basically it's me, myself, and I starting this whole blog, this whole coverage of everything when it comes to mechanical keyboards, from not just like the keyboards themselves, but the switches, the keycaps, everything that goes into building a mechanical keyboard. That is what we're here covering, and that's what we're doing from as of January 1st.
Now, I've had some people who have asked me that have Parkinson's that are dealing with that, where you have the shakes, that sometimes operating a keyboard could be a little more difficult than maybe a standard user, especially with mice. And we've seen, mice on the market where the hand rests on the mouse instead, so it's not moving all over. Can these keyboards have that same kind of health function geared to maybe helping somebody who is dealing with something like this?
I believe so. You wouldn't want to go with the Hall effect magnetic switch, because those kinds of keyboards, for example, I've got one right here.
Oh,
This is a Mel Geek. This is a Mel Geek Made 84 water. It's a very limited board now because they just did the elements. They based it off the Fifth Element movie, so they made all the different elements in these
oh, wow.
keyboards.
Nice.
And it's a Hall effect. It's a magnetic switch. So basically, you hold it up higher. Okay, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
There
there
we
you
go.
go.
Let's just cover my
Totally
face.
legit. Yeah.
Cover my face. It's totally fine. I got a face for radio anyway. So basically, these switches in this board are magnetic based, which means you barely push it and it's registering a keystroke. So
Wow.
someone with Parkinson's probably wouldn't want to have a magnetic switch Hall effect keyboard. They would probably want to go with a standard switch like this drop custom
Oh,
80.
there you go. Look at that. That's nice.
Yeah, this is
I mean,
great. It's got ceramic keycaps on it as well, which is very soft. It's very nice touch. It stays cool no matter what. It's cool to the touch. You could wail on this thing for hours. It stays cool.
it
I can't say enough about Syracuse.
it is amazing. I gotta say how mechanical keyboards have made such a major comeback. I mean, we started with mechanical keyboards back in, the 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
and then everybody went to, digital,
Membrane.
all the membrane stuff. Yeah. And then mechanical keyboards kind of became that niche market for like video gamers and people that wanted that tactile feedback. But now what you're helping to do, Paul, is just kind of help open up that space and say, look, there's so many more use cases for mechanical keyboards.
With great style.
Yes. And Epo Maker, the one of the brands that was at CES unveiled last night, because they rolled out a new magnetic switch that's better than the standard Hall effect switch that you're seeing in like the Mate 84 that I showed you. Their magnetic switch has a very low like an actuation rate, where it's almost way sensitive. It's almost way sensitive. It's perfect for gamers. But while I was there discussing, their new switches, they clearly see a need for these keyboards in the office workspace. That was one of their selling points to me, was like, you could take this into the office. Matter of fact, we encourage people to take this in the office.
Hmm.
They had a lot of the 100% full key, 106, 108, 114 key layout keyboards there, and they were really pushing the office aspect of mechanical keyboards. Take this to the office, your life will change. And again, I've got a lot of coworkers who are using these things now that I brought them into the workplace, and they say these things are effing amazing, and I can't agree more with it. I
Yep.
can't agree more.
Do you find that people will use some of these keyboards as a tie-on to their mobile device? So somebody got a laptop. Okay, let's face it, laptops don't have the greatest keyboards. There's
No.
some that have, but So they'll just push that aside and use that instead.
I have I have a laptop and I just use a mechanical keyboard with it. I haven't seen anyone using like a mobile device like a
My man.
phone. But I have seen people using them with tablets too. Like there are tablet sized mechanical keyboards that are out in the market. I have not, tested those yet, but I have seen people using um, like the 60% keyboards that are just, like there's no function keys, there's no 10 keys. It's just your QWERTY and then your numbers at the top, some caps lock, some shift, very small keyboards that I've seen people using with tablets.
Wow. Now, you're at CES. I mean, it's the biggest tech gathering, ever, and it's huge. You've got, Thoughthouse. You're showing some really cool stuff from them. You're looking at some of the others, but let's face it, you're a great videographer. Like Shawn works in for Notre Dame doing their video stuff. Do you kind of still look at some of that stuff that's going on? You want to, oh, I want that camera system, or I want this one. I know Red's got a brand new one too.
Oh, easily. It's like I'm here on work. I'm here to cover the keyboards, but I find myself, just glancing over and seeing if there's any kind of technology that catches my eye, whether it be whether it be a camera system or PCs. I'm slowly making the transition out of Mac to PC.
Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
Yeah. I've been a firm believer in Mac for years, but I've realized that when it comes to maintenance, it's just easier for me, someone who knows his way around a PC, to kind of fix things themselves, kind of do things and swap out cards. Whatever goes wrong in a PC, I can easily maintain it.
Instead of
whereas
taking
Mac,
it to the genius bar.
yeah, that whole thing, and I just it's basically my better half, my partner. She kind of has been all about PCs for a long time and has been talking to me like, hey, you should
You
really kind
better
of.
put a ring on that right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I'll marry her tomorrow. She knows that. She knows that I'll marry her tomorrow. She's great.
Are you still living in LA out in that area?
I am in Los Angeles, yes,
Yep.
and I'm still working. I'm still working for KTLA. That's the 9 to 5
Oh,
job that
wait. So
allows
so
me.
so how long have you been working for KTLA?
I'm working on 10 years now at KTLA.
Dude, I worked for the same company as you for a while. I was corporate staff for Nexstar. Actually, well, Tribune as well, but I was
Yeah,
corporate IT.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
It's
right.
it's definitely a changing landscape. The whole television news media thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mhm.
that and that's kind of like why I'm doing what I'm doing with Thoughthouse now. I'm kind of trying to branch out and promote this kind of thing where I definitely the video stuff is great, and I'm thankful to have such a long career starting in 2002 behind a camera at the Olympics, when I was working in Salt Lake, working in Greece for the Olympics. But um, it's starting to get to a point where things I'm starting to evolve, and I'm thankful for my time, but at the same time, I'm really passionate about this keyboard thing, and that's
That's
kind of where
good.
all
That's
my
great.
energy is
That's
going.
amazing.
Now, you're building the social media, you're building the website, of course.
Mhm.
Again, it's Thock House, which is a interesting name. Can you tell us? Is there a story behind that?
Basically, the descriptor for one of these mechanical keyboards, one of the descriptors is thocky. That's the sound they make is a thocky sound, a creamy sound. So
Perfect.
I just took the word thock, and I was thinking about things to kind of add to the word thock. And my sister was like, "Why don't you call it like Thockhaus? Like it's kind of German Thockhaus, fancy German kind of uh,
That's how I
keyboard,
definitely pictured it.
keyboard
Yeah.
name." Yeah. So it was like, yeah, that's okay. And I saw someone on Twitter had used it once as a joke, and I was like, okay, well, if no one's using that, I think it's perfect for this brand.
That
So
is perfect. Yeah.
that's what we're using with
I
Thoughtcast.
gotta let you know, I just found your channel on YouTube and I subscribed
Yep.
Thank you.
on there, and I saw your Thock House at CES Sunday night unveiled.
Good
So
Yes.
yeah,
video.
I'm just
You
watching it
really
right
get a
now.
good idea of that keyboard that you were talking about with the pad that comes out. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
And that's exactly the kind of thing
these are
I
some
think
really cool ones.
that's the thing that I think that people that's kind of like our mission statement is just kind of really emphasize health benefits to these mechanical keyboards. Again, like carpal tunnel, specifically my better half.
I mean,
Uh,
I gotta say, Paul, watching this video, I mean, I can just see like your experience as a videographer. Like you just have perfect transitions, perfect framing, everything about it. It's just
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you. I toot my own horn. I did just win LA Press Club's Photo Journalist of the Year again.
Right.
This
That's
month.
pretty
So,
good. According
Congrats.
to our
Thank
friend
you.
Zach Selwyn, I don't know if you know Zach or remember Zach from
I do
Tucson.
remember Zach.
Yep. There is an EG's in Redondo, I believe, on the pier, somewhere
Get
down
out.
there. And he walked by, and I don't think they were selling the food, just selling the EG drinks. So if you happen to be down in Redondo Beach, you might want to look for that one. But
I've been telling my better half for years now. Like, we need to go to Tucson. You need to try an EG's. You need to try Sonoran hot dog. You need to try all the Tucson food
Oh
that you
yeah.
can. And she's like, yeah,
Some
we'll
Los
eventually get.
Betos. Some Los Betos.
Oh
yeah,
man,
there you go. Well,
she
listen,
I took her to a Sonoran food place once, and she was like, this isn't really my Mexican food. So it's a struggle.
well, it is great to connect with you. I know Justin it put a big smile on his face as well. So again, Thought House, you look them up on YouTube. Check out social media on that and continue success with that. And maybe we could reconnect after CES, after this whole week, and see what your thoughts are. What would kind of the standout products for you?
I've got 28 booths to cover tomorrow. 28 to go to
Wow.
Wow.
in 8 hours,
Well, I
and
expect a full report from you.
yes, you definitely will have one. I'm going to be doing individual breakdowns of the keyboards, like more in depth. I interviewed all the people involved in those keyboard companies. I'll be doing more in depth 2 to 3 minute breakdowns of every single company coming up in the next week on Thoughthouse.
We'll
Very
take a look.
nice.
We've shared it on our social media as well at Tech Talk Radio. Paul, great to connect with you, man.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you, Paul.
And we'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us online at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back.
Finally, Shawn was able to pop in after his HOA meeting. So now we can find out, Shawn,
Oh, no.
are you a board member for an HOA?
I sure am.
Oh, that's it. I'm done.
Man. Oh, Shawn. How did you do that to us?
I'm
Why?
over here. I'm over here putting liens on people's houses.
For having the wrong colored fence.
You better believe it. No. So the reason I joined the board for HOA is because the former president pretty much said, I'm done. If nobody's taking it over, we're putting it into a management company.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yes, that's what happened to us. Yeah.
So a handful of us stepped up and said, "Look, I'll be on the board." Like a guy said, he'd be president. So I'm doing it solely so we didn't get screwed and put to a management company because who knows what it would have turned into? It would have been a mess, and people weren't like, yeah. So that's why I did it. But
No, you made it back. Everything went okay.
How many death
Everything's
threats
fine.
did you get tonight?
none. I mean,
Oh,
there's
okay.
only 144 homes in our HOA, so it's not like
Only?
Only? That's
That's a lot of homes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's my first HOA, so I don't know.
All right, I want to find out what else is going on with you, but also Justin did something this week. You got your son. Now, was this a Christmas present or a birthday present? You got your son a smartwatch. Which,
Yeah.
when you think smartwatches for kids, there's really some people will always say, "Oh, don't give your kids anything if they're under 13." But there are some benefits to having technology still tied with your child.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I did get him a smartwatch for his birthday. If it wasn't like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Galaxy Watch or anything like that. It is designed for kids and it's called TikTok. Like you think TikTok like the social
Yeah.
media app, but it's TickTalk. The words spelled out. TikTok.
Yeah, which
Talk.
people I always have to fix them when I'm telling
I know.
TikTok radio. They go TikTok radio. No.
No, TikTok.
All
It is a smartwatch company. It was on Amazon. I think it was like $180. It rides on either the AT&T or the T-Mobile network, your choice.
Oh, wow.
But it is a smartwatch that allows him to text and call approved contacts. So as a parent, you set it up and you basically, you set yourself and your spouse, if you got one, or anybody else that you might want to be allowed to contact your child or your child to contact them. And then everybody else is blocked. Like if you were to try to call my son right now, because he has a phone number, he literally has a Denver area phone number.
Really?
If you try to call him, it won't go through because it's not allowed. But you can also, I thought I could just text him through my primary texting app. No, you have to actually use their app to text because it encrypts the traffic, it keeps it secure, so that way you don't have to worry about it, just being on a standard SMS or
Right.
RTS network. So the app is pretty good. I gotta say though, the downside is he uses it all the time,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's gotten annoying already. Like
Yeah.
2 days, and I see Shawn looking at it in his monitor right there.
Mm.
Yeah, 2 days, and he's already texted me probably 150 times. And he's called my mom, his grandma. He's called her about 35 different times. And she's just like, okay, you know what? We need to like set boundaries on this because I don't like to be bothered all day, every day. Like for every little thing he wants to tell me, he doesn't need to text me or talk to me or whatever. And I'm like, I get it. I know it's a new little toy. But I do, you can set boundaries. You can set it up so that during school hours, the watch will not work, right?
Okay.
The only thing that'll work is the SOS mode. And if he presses a certain combination of buttons, it'll activate SOS mode, which will then give him the option to either call me or call 911.
Right.
And so that's a cool feature. But otherwise, the watch will not operate during school hours.
I kind of wonder, Justin and Sean, I don't know what your thoughts on this are. And I've taught courses on podcasting to children of all ages on the Gila River reservation. I'm kind of wondering, should there be a program for youth now that where technology is, that we could teach them about those boundaries, those lines, those proper maybe technology etiquette when it comes to things you don't want to do with somebody's Wi-Fi, or maybe
Oh,
do with your watch, or do with a
dude,
desk.
that's an amazing idea. Sean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a very good thing. I think
Right?
that is something that needs to happen because there is no kids don't learn social media or internet etiquette from anyone but their peers.
Well, we grew up. We see the thing is we grew up with it. Like we grew up from the infancy of the internet, so we set the standard as we evolved.
Right. So, but we also grew up so the majority of our childhood, right, was pre current,
Pre-internet.
pre modern internet, right, pre public accessible internet, really.
Mine
Yeah,
was
yeah.
mine was pre-color television. What are you talking about?
Right.
10-year-old.
So I don't know. We think about this a lot, and Caitlin and I talk about this quite a bit in terms of education. Her sister's a professor. I have several friends that are professors, and the question comes up all the time is how are kids learning with technology versus how they would learn without it?
Yeah.
Well,
Because you get these kids that are just using, and one of my sister-in-law said it's very difficult to not get students to not use ChatGPT or other online resources to teach them the content, because she knows she says I easily identify this is not your work. You
Yeah.
don't know this is too smart for you.
yeah.
You don't know this.
Yeah,
right?
when you're a third grader turning in a paper that's written by ChatGPT in the form of a college essay, yeah, your teacher's not going to have a hard time figuring that out.
Yeah.
But I've heard from other people who have grade level kids that their kids are just putting in the most basic stuff into ChatGPT, like what does 2 plus 4 equal, or what is the radius
Yeah.
of pi, and not learning it and just copying and pasting answers from ChatGPT to their homework.
I
There's
remember
no
when I was a kid, I would go to the Honey Beach Public Library and I would go through their encyclopedias when I needed to look something up. And I would do that. Couldn't cut and paste. You had to rewrite everything. Yeah, and now I understand some kids aren't even learning cursive.
Oh yeah, they don't teach cursive anymore.
No,
some
because-
kids are there is there are studies going on right now that are showing that even like 7th and 8th grade level students are struggling with writing because they don't do any actual handwritten work anymore. So
Right.
they're actually struggling with knowing how to actually write, not necessarily just cursive, just writing in general and reading in general, because you don't have to. The process of writing and reading is they're so entwined with each other that those functions don't happen when you're just typing it into a computer.
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and I don't know if you guys know this, but you ever watch YouTube videos with your kids? You know, my grandson comes over. He's 3.
Every
And
day.
Every moment of Max's existence.
right. And my grandson knows ABCs. He'll just say ABCs, ABCs, and he'll point to the screen and want me to put the ABCs on YouTube. YouTube Kids is great. But there's one on there named Miss Rachel. And
Yep.
yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with her. And I thought, okay, she gets on there, she's kind of bouncy, she sings. I went online and I started looking, and there were men who have a crush on Miss Rachel that are online. I'm like, come on, guys. She's, just for your kids. It's for your kids, the whole bit. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of it. Then I looked at how much Miss Rachel was worth. $10 million.
Oh, easily.
These
I mean,
influencers, they get on there and they're just 10 million bucks.
well, not even just a single influencer. Look at that channel that recently was talked about as being really actually detrimental to your kids' health. Coco Melon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Coco Melon was a massive hit. I mean, billions and billions of views of their videos. And my son was probably at least 3.5 million of those views. But they recently came out and said that Coco Melon is like a predatory YouTube channel because they're utilizing the fast-paced imagery with the bright colors and the round shapes to engage children with an underdeveloped brain to be addicted to their channel.
Yeah, I
And
saw one of the studies on that, and I was like, really?
yeah, and when I first heard that, I said the same thing. I was like, really? But then I went back and I mean, I read the article and I read their evidence against it. And then I went back and I actually watched a couple Coco Melon videos and I'm like, oh my God, they're right. Like everything they're saying about this is totally addicting to children.
I can't imagine. How did we grow up learning our ABCs, our 1, 2, 3s
We did it the old fashioned way.
in a
We
classroom and with a book?
we sang it to him. We sang it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I had a poster on my wall that
Yep.
I would study A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then I would learn it backwards. And I could do it. I could actually, at one point in my life, I could do the ABCs backwards,
And you would write it.
and I would write it. Yeah, and I would learn
And then you would
cursive.
write letters to words that use those letters.
Yep.
And then you would write them some more.
Yeah, no,
and then
I mean,
you'd write the
honestly,
big ones and then the small ones. And
I,
then you'd write it in cursive. And then
I actually recently asked Eric. I was like, so what is your like what kind of like work do you do in your school? Like, do you guys get a pen and paper and you practice your writing skills? And he's like, no, we got a laptop. We just do it all
Wow.
online. And I'm like, does your teacher even teach you? And he goes, no, she just tells us to go to the website and follow the lesson online. And I'm like, so basically your teacher is like a prison guard.
Well,
Like-
maybe it wasn't good to compare it to that, but yeah.
I mean, no, it really is. She doesn't do anything anymore. Teachers don't do anything anymore because it's all done via a laptop or whatever. And on one
And
side,
all respects to teachers, though.
no,
It's,
I mean,
it's the curriculum that the district chooses, right?
all respect to teachers. But again, what I was just say is on one hand of me, that's like, hey, that's great because it takes the stress off of teachers because teachers have such a hard job, right?
Yeah.
But there's that little part of me then that goes, wait, hold up. If my son's teacher is just literally just babysitting them while they're doing stuff online, why do I want to pay them $100,000 a year?
But I think it's super important, though, that kids need to learn the ethics involved. I mean, we can tell kids, oh, don't answer strange texts or don't,
This is the stuff they don't
this.
teach.
They don't teach that stuff. They don't teach. Don't take a photo and put it of you and your friends online. Don't say what sports team you play for. Don't say what school you go to.
Don't, yeah, what street you grew up on. I mean, but back when we were kids, what they were telling us, not to do was things like um hold on. Damn it. I'm sorry.
Don't dial the 1-900 numbers.
Yeah. I used to dial that number all the time. The one where you could get a joke, dial a joke. I used to love dial a joke.
Yeah, you used to the dial jokes or the Nintendo hotline to get cheat codes.
Oh, those or
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the Miss Cleo,
Yes. Oh.
psychic, Yeah. Those are the kind of things. Yeah.
There's so many different things, but I think they need to learn that, and nobody's teaching that. Maybe this would be a great opportunity for somebody who has a classroom experience to do this.
Well, what they didn't teach us too in school, obviously, is like they didn't teach us like how to balance our checkbooks, how to do taxes, things like that.
Used to.
Well, yeah, maybe they
Oh,
did,
man.
but like every generation has that one thing where they're like, well, they never taught us this in school, and then we had to deal with this. You know,
I learned computers in school, in high school.
I did.
When
Yep.
they were coming out, and they would connect to a server, and you could use 10 print, 20
I
input
I
A.
played what is it? Oregon Trail on the Apple II.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, have you seen that the new Oregon Trail is out on Xbox Game Pass?
Are you kidding me?
Yep, they remastered the game, and they actually made it with there's multiple variations of Oregon Trail you can play, and there's like different quests you can do. It is completely renewed for 2025. Oregon Trail on Xbox Game Pass.
All right, listen, we got to take another quick break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. Listener question. So we'll get to that one to wrap it up. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
There are many trade shows that happen throughout the country, throughout the world, we'll never hear about. But one of those that we hear about every year, we get so excited around this time of the year, is the Consumer Electronics Show. And Patrick Pennett is Senior Director of Industry and Policy Communications for the Consumer Technology Association. Patrick, welcome to Tech Talk Radio. Thank you.
Glad to be with you here today. Thrilled to be here. Less than nearly 24 hours until CES 2025 kicks off here in Las Vegas.
It's going to be an exciting time. Now, this week, we're already getting the announcements of some of the great products that are coming out. But for our listeners who maybe are not familiar with the Consumer Technology Association, tell us a little bit about what they do.
So CTA, the Consumer Technology Association, has been around for more than a century, 101 years this year, starting as the Radio Manufacturers Association. And then we started what began as the Consumer Electronics Show, now known simply as CES, more than 50 years ago. And we've been in our home, Las Vegas, for several decades now. The first, one of the first few weeks of January every year, really to set the agenda for the year ahead in technology. The other 51 weeks a year, when we're not here in Vegas, we're a DC-based trade association. So we work with our membership of more than 1,000 companies, many of which 80% are small to medium size, helping them with advocacy and helping them understand how to compete in a regulated and innovative environment, and helping secure a prosperous future for North America's tech companies.
Now, we don't see just the huge players like Sony and Philips and some of these others. We see also the small startups that find CES to be a great launching ground for them.
That is so true. One of my favorite areas at the show is in the Venetian Eureka Park. I equate it to like a Moroccan bazaar. You have 1,000 startups in 10 by 10s, each trying to get your attention to talk about the product that is the next big thing. That's where startups like Ring and Impossible Burger came to market, found partnerships, and really got to tell their story. And I'm excited for some of the brands that we'll see this year. We're going to see, I don't have green thumbs. There's going to be plant buddies that basically help you grow plants using AI to measure the light, the water, humidity, to make sure you can keep that plant alive even while you're traveling, and it will give you guidance on how to do it. And I think it's this convergence of AI that's really going to sort of drive our future and be additive to help make our homes better, more livable. And we'll also hear from companies who are helping make our world more livable, more comfortable, more sustainable.
Yeah, we're seeing products that are not just designed for just business. We're seeing that stuff that we'll use in our everyday lives, stuff, whether it be a microwave technology or even robotic vacuum. there is products out there that can change and even up the game of what these products have been able to do.
That's right. One example I think is Eureka is coming out with in June, coming out with a first to market. It's like a Roomba iRobot that does your floors with a mop, but it uses AI and LiDAR to find transparent spills on the floor. So stuff that you might not see, this will find it, vacuum and clean and mop around it, and then take itself back home to charge and empty out. So that's kind of really the beginning of what we're seeing. The other thing we're seeing, especially in the Venetian, is the convergence of health technologies, health and fitness, and smart home. So it's gone beyond just the smartwatch. It's really getting down to how I'm able to manage my health with products like Abbott's Lingo that will help me monitor my blood sugar, my glucose, to understand how that affects my performance. I'm already tracking my sleep. I'm using new products like EssilorLuxottica's glasses that are going to help me both see, but also using beamforming sound to act as over-the-counter hearing aids to improve my sound and my vision. And I can't wait for the next generation that will have sensors like fall detection and similar to that.
I remember attending CES many, many years ago, and we were talking about wearable technology. And I mean, in the last 15 years, we've come a long way when it comes to monitoring our health. And even in a case where somebody is living in maybe an assisted living facility and just decides to get up and walk away, there are products that can help track and locate that person to bring them back safely.
That's right. And it's not just to bring them back safely, it's in case they've fallen. So we're going to see more products that are using radar. And maybe if you do fall, or maybe if you get lost, it will help alert a healthcare provider or a remote friend and family. I mean, we're dealing with an aging population. I've had parents living overseas. And so to be able to kind of keep tabs on them or know when they need help to alert it, I think is a real value.
We also, one of the questions I get asked a lot is when it comes to technology and CES announcements, what about our cars? Because we see so much. I saw my son bought a car the other day, and he brought it by, and he opened the door, and I looked at it, and I'm like, what the heck is all this? So much electronics to assist in making the drive more enjoyable and more safer.
That's right. And that's why we are huge advocates of what you will see here at CES, and it's around autonomous driving. And it's not just cars, it's much smaller people movers, and it's also at the industrial scale. It's how there's going to be electrification in light rail and heavy rail, construction equipment. Again, about the electrification of the entire mobility ecosystem, and that's what you'll see here on the floor and outside at CES. In addition to drive-alongs, to exactly see that beautiful OLED screen in a BMW as you do a drive-along in Central Plaza. In addition to autonomous vehicles that you'll see on the streets and smaller micro-mobility companies like Zook. And of course, where would we be without the flying cars? So you're going to see companies like XPeng doing their initial launch of their electric flying cars. So you are seeing the whole ecosystem here.
Now, one of the cars from last year, I remember the Mobian, that caught everybody by surprise with how it's able to move and navigate the roads and help people in many ways while they're in their vehicles. Will we see more vehicles like this?
Not just vehicles, but boats as well. We can expect companies like Brunswick to come out with electric boats that are using AI and autonomous parking technology to help you do some of the most challenging parts of driving a boat, to dock it, to moor it, to take it out in inclement weather. And I think, again, it's just you're seeing it across every form of transit and transportation, down to even micro-mobility scooters that are going to have greater levels of technology, collision avoidance, and things like that, just to help you. Not to mention wearables. We've seen over time jackets and collars and things that detect an incoming crash and basically act as a personal airbag. So it really is a holistic look at the system of both safety, and that's something that we believe that our autonomous future is really going to help drive safety.
So one of the many announcements made at the Consumer Electronics Show this week. Now, we also look at our home entertainment systems. When you think about it, the VHS and Beta, I think were announced at CES when they first came out. And you look at how far we've come with these huge, giant screens. But home entertainment has changed from having to pick whether it's going to be VHS or beta or even DVD. Now we're seeing so much digital content out there. How will entertainment play a role in our homes with announcements made from CES?
I mean, that's such a great question, because when you think it isn't just about the screen. What we hear from consumers is that they want a seamless experience from the TV to the phone to the car dashboard to the tablet. And it really is this convergence of connected content and immersive entertainment with things like Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, DTX going through devices, in cars, in home, on your phone, immersive sound in your headphones, that are really going to help bring that experience to life. And it really is going to become a content play. That's why we have C-Space at CES, where you have brands like Walmart and Amazon who are telling the story about how the entertainment ecosystem can connect across all of your devices and be more seamless. And not just more seamless, catering to what I want that's bespoke to me.
Now, you mentioned smartphones, and we talk about that technology and how that keeps changing. One of the questions we received a couple of months ago was translation devices. Are we seeing that technology ramping up where somebody could actually wear or have on their smartphone and automatically understand that language and translate it for you?
Massively, and the technology, it's generative AI informed, and it's just going to keep getting better. I used it on a recent trip to France. I would take a picture of a sign and I would have it translate what's on the sign, so I knew everything that was on the menu, and it's instantaneous. It's also going to be projecting to my earbuds or my headphones if I'm wearing them. The other thing that we're going to see a lot of this year is smart AR informed glasses. So whether it's like the Meta glasses and many other startups coming to market with their take on those products, many are crowdfunded or coming up through Kickstarter as well. So at Eureka Park, and also from established brands like EssilorLuxottica and Meta, it's really going to be about this convergence of augmented reality glasses, just like you're wearing, except it's going to be more data infused. Maybe you're taking pictures, notes, or simply having an overlay, so you're not having to have your nose in your phone while you're navigating down to Midtown Manhattan.
One of the things I'm wondering about is you go to an ophthalmologist, you get a prescription for your glasses, and over time, you love these glasses. Over time, your eyes, maybe they need a little more work. They need a stronger prescription. Kind of wonder if they'll be able to adjust that in the lens itself.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, or maybe the
Yeah.
smart contact lens of the future. I mean, this is where you see the future of possible.
Now, I have to ask you, Patrick, what excites you the most when you're walking the show floor, which is absolutely huge? If nobody's been to CES, that we're talking to, it's just amazing.
I think we're saying it's more than 30 football pitches, but even that doesn't make sense until you kind of count your steps at the end of the day and you realize you've basically just walked a marathon. But it really is about, you can choose your adventure here. So if you want to dive in on mobility, or if you want to learn about startups, or if you want to get into digital health, we have curated experiences and also really compelling conference programming and keynotes from like Delta's Ed Bastian tomorrow night, Panasonic, NVIDIA tonight, the world's most valuable company. Jensen Huang's going to be on stage telling the story. And that's what I love, is that in the keynotes, you'll hear the vision. In some of the conferences, you'll hear how it's coming to life. And then on the show floor, you see it in reality. You get to touch it, you get to experience. And really, frankly, the thing I love most on the floor is the serendipity. It's running into something I didn't expect to be a success, or the surprise thing that catches all the headlines, like Bird Buddy last year. Who'd have thought everybody in the world just wants to spend time looking at the birds in their garden? And here we are.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
power of CES.
So many great products. And again, if our listeners want to keep an eye on this, they can do that. Keep an eye on the keynotes. They can check out the show floor. Great video presentations last year, and I know you're going to have more of the same for this year.
Huge amount more. Find it on ces.tech and at CES on socials. We'll be live streaming a whole lot, including much of the conference programming. The keynotes will be out there live as well. And definitely encourage you to tune in, especially for new venues like NVIDIA, the Michelob Ultra Arena tonight, and then Delta at Sphere tomorrow night with Lenny Kravitz. That's going to be a show.
Nice. Great stuff. Patrick, thank you so much for coming on Tech Talk Radio. I hope you got your new shoes ready to go. That's a lot of walking.
They're broken in.
Thank you for coming on Tech Talk Radio.
Take care, Andy. All the best.
We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio coming up next. Great discussion with CES. I'm kind of wondering, is there anything, Justin and Shawn, that you've said, oh, I want to have that maybe you've heard about?
I'll let Shawn go first because I got something, but I'll let Shawn go first.
Okay. All right. Shawn?
I don't know. I think more of what my kids are going to want. Right. And that's Legos.
Legos. Legos.
Lego.
And Paw Patrol stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been there. I remember that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I gotta say, the one thing that I did see from CES was that robotic vacuum with the robotic arm
Oh, isn't that awesome?
that can actually reach out and grab an item in front of it and move it out of the way so it can keep vacuuming. That's the one thing that I have a problem with our robotic vacuum is I have to tell Eric always clean up your room, make sure there's nothing on the floor, clean up all the cat toys, all that stuff, make sure there's no cat puke on the floor. But, but this vacuum with the robotic arm, it is a Roomba, right? The actual official?
It's from a company called Roborock, and they're calling it
Roborock.
Thanos 270. If you go to their website at us.roborock.com, you could see all the different products that they have. Now, they may not have the Thanos 270 on there yet, but it does. It has an arm, and it uses AI, and it could see, oh, there's a sock, and it will pick it up and move it and then clean the area. I mean,
I just really hope it doesn't detect like dog poo and think it's a sock and try to move it, and then it just spreads it all around.
Or just throws it.
Yeah, just launches it.
I don't know if you've heard those stories about the Roombas that have done that, where they'll just roll right over it and it's just everywhere after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. But I mean, that's the one thing I would say that is so far the coolest thing that I've seen come out of CES. And I'm sure there's plenty more. Honestly, we need to go to CES in 2026.
I was talking with Patrick earlier, and I told him next year we're coming. We'll get rooms. We'll stay
Let's
out
do
there.
it.
Go see us unveiled, the whole bit.
Do a live show.
Let's do it.
All right, Lucy in Tucson. Real quick question. My daughter got herself a gaming device, I guess, gaming computer. Oh my gosh, right? Her dad got it for her, but about the games, can you rent them online and play them? What's the best way to get games for a gaming computer?
What games is she interested in? That's the big key. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't really answer that question without her being here. So,
but there's, I mean, it's whatever she's interested, whatever the person using the computer is interested in playing, right? Because then you're going to have to download that specific vendor's launcher. Steam obviously is a big one, right? So Blizzard, if you're into Blizzard games, Steam, Epic launchers, Origin,
Xbox, Game Pass,
good old games, Xbox Game Pass. I mean, there's
a ton of them, but I mean, honestly, I would say I would personally say let's just start with Steam. Steam, it is the website is steampowered.com, not steam.com, steampowered.com. That is probably the go-to place for PC games. I mean, there's about 1.5 million games on Steam. It's by a company called Valve, which is a very famous company. Second on the list, I would say, like Shawn said, I'd say probably Blizzard. Blizzard has a ton of games because they're Activision Blizzard, which happens to also be owned by Microsoft. You've got World of Warcraft, you got StarCraft, you've got Overwatch. I mean,
we don't know how old Lucy's daughter is. So
yeah. I don't know. But I mean, there's a ton, and then like Shawn mentioned, Good Old Games has another one, GOG.
Oh, I like those.
Xbox Game Pass is great because Xbox Game Pass, $19.99 a month. You get access to a buttload of games for that, and it can all be played on PC and on the go on your tablet or phone.
It's
kind
kind of like
console.
renting them, right? I mean,
kind of, yeah.
If you think of the old Blockbuster days, we'd pay $4 a night. So that would work out.
Yeah, and Game Pass, basically you pay the monthly fee and then you get access to the games, and the games usually last 90 to 180 days. And then they start going away eventually. But if they're more popular, they'll stay longer. But, they rotate games all the time.
I like Good Old Games. I like that one because then you can play, Lara Croft, some of the old games. And that's the thing, when you're a parent and your kids start gaming, you want them to play the games you played. And then you introduce them to the games, and then they
know.
get angry with you because the graphics are just awful.
I know. I'm trying, man. I keep telling Eric about all these games I played, and he's like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah, I do like the old games. And one of my favorite games that I have, and you can get it on GOG, Chex Quest.
Chex Quest. I don't know that.
Oh, that wasn't that a free game that came in a box of Chex Mix?
Yes, the company that I don't know if it's Kellogg's
knew
or
it.
General Mills or whatever. They made a game called Chex
Chex Quest. Yeah.
that they shipped out millions of CDs in Chex cereal. And
Man.
it became a cult classic video game.
Yeah.
And then they ended up remastering it, and it's incredible.
You guys have no idea, though, of the joy of getting a box of cereal, right? Okay, you get a game in one. But did you ever get a 45 RPM record on the back of the box that you could take, cut out of the box of cereal, put it on a record player, and it would play?
What is a 45 RPM?
Oh, my gosh.
No, I'm just messing with you.
All right.
No, I mean we're old enough to remember like getting demo CDs in
Oh, yeah.
PC magazines
Oh, yeah.
and playing the ever living crap out of the demos, never
Yeah.
getting the original games,
Yeah.
and then playing the actual game like 20 years later, going, this game sucks.
Yeah.
All right, listen, that's it for this week's Tech Talk Radio. Thank you for joining. We'll have more next week. We'll take a look more of the products that have been announced from CES. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Levy. Have yourselves a great week. Make sure to check out our blog, blog.techtalkradio.com. We'll see you next time.